At Hobbymaker, we want your shopping experience to be as simple as possible. That's why you can buy as many items as you like all day and only pay one postage and packaging fee. It doesn't matter what weight, size or quantity of your order or how many times you check out that day, you still will only be charged one P&P. Shopping made simple with Hobbymaker.
Very, very good morning to you. Wake up, wakey, wakey, rise and shine. You are watching Wake Up with Hobbymaker, quite possibly the best crafting show in the world. Especially this morning because it's Technique Tuesday today. What does that mean? Well, we've got a show cram-packed with fantastic techniques for you this morning. But don't worry if you're sitting there thinking, that all sounds very good, sounds like lots of demos, lots of great stuff going on, but Ben, you're no crafter. You know, we love you, but you're no crafter, mate. Don't worry, because we have got a fantastic guest coming up on the show this morning. But before we jump to that, I'm just going to do a quick reminder to anybody that's a regular viewer here of Wake Up with Hobbymaker, and if you're new to Wake Up with Hobbymaker, from 6 until 8, Monday to Friday, weekday mornings, don't miss out because we usually have some early morning madness deals. Oh yes, the early bird catches the worm. It's a great reason to get up in the morning. We have some fantastic deals coming up for you in the show as always. Now, don't forget as well that the quickest way to shop is on the website, which is hobbymaker.co.uk. It's dead easy. What you do is you pop on there, you click watch live, and you scroll down, and everything that we have got coming up on the show today is on pre-order. What does that mean? Pre-order is just a way to order before we show it to you on the show. That's what pre-order is. You can shop, put it in your basket before you see it on the show. It doesn't mean you're pre-ordering it and you're not going to get it for 3 weeks. We're going to dispatch it for you today. So don't worry about that. And the great thing, of course, here at Hobbymaker as well, is that you will only ever pay one P&P. So it's £3.95 P&P from midnight last night through to midnight tonight. It doesn't matter how often you order. It doesn't matter how many times you order, how big it is, what the weight is. If you order any more items throughout the day today on Hobbymaker and you've already paid one lot of P&P, you won't pay any more. It doesn't get any better than that. Just remember to click the little button that says combine your orders. If you want to order online, you can do that. But if you want to order our free phone call centre, UK-based 24 hours a day, don't miss out on that either. Now, we've got 6 bundles coming up on the show today, and they're all about back to basics. So we're going to be starting with some embossing today, then we're going on to edgeable dies, double-sided dies, we've got tri-blend techniques and a blending demo. Plus we've got flower forming. So if you've not seen that before, if you're new to some of these crafts, or maybe you want a refresher, this is the show to be watching. Now, if you've got any questions, we would love you to send those in because you're going to enjoy our guest again this morning. We're going to want to hear from you if you've got any questions, you want us to show you something again, if you want us to expand the information on the techniques that we're being demoed today. You can do that. Email us studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. You can also message us directly right here at Hobbymaker HQ on the web, on our website. And again, just click watch now onto the right-hand side of the screen there. You'll see a little box that will pop up. You type in your message. We really want to see those fingers. Type in the message and press send, and it will come straight here to Hobbymaker HQ. Don't forget as well, if you've got some crafty makes, if you've got any crafty makes, send those to us as well, because you're going to the prize draw at the end of the month where you could win £100 on your Hobbymaker account, £100 credit. So send in any photos of your crafty makes. We're not the crafting police. We don't care where it was made, when it was made, what it was made with. You send it over and we will automatically put you into the draw and you could get it shown on TV. It doesn't get any better than that. Or does it? But if you don't know where to start, everything here for you today. Everything for you today. Now, I think it's time to introduce you to this morning's crafty guest. It's Craig from Crafter's Companion. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm very, very well indeed. I feel quite chirpy this morning, Craig, and I'll be honest.
So do I.
I've been really looking forward to seeing you this morning and seeing the show because I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these techniques because we're going back to basics, Craig, today, aren't we?
We absolutely are. So maybe you're a new crafter, maybe you're new to hobby maker, maybe actually you're experienced and you want to do a little top up of some of the crafty goodies that we've got because, you know, as you were saying, we're going to do a little bit of colouring with our tri-blends, we're going to do a little bit of embossing, we're going to do some inking, flower forming, so we're going to strip it right back. We've got incredible bundles on the show this morning as well, and what I've tried to do where possible, I've tried to only use what is in each bundle. Occasionally I'll maybe add in an extra piece of black card or white card, something most crafters would have within their stash, but within each set it is more of a learner's guide too. I will show you the basics. You can get the products home, start crafting yourself and seeing what you can come up with. And like you say, obviously, yes, it'll be good to see what you are making now, but then when you get your goodies at home with future hobby maker shows, it'd be lovely to see what you've made with the items on today's show.
And I think with some of the techniques and refreshers that you're going to be going over today, Craig, we're going to see some fantastic crafty makes from our viewers. So we're really, really looking forward to that because we love, love, love our viewers to share their techniques, share their photos, share their makes. So we're going to be starting with the embossing bundle this morning. Now, there are 26 pieces in this bundle, so you do need to keep your eye open for that. And there's so many pieces in actual fact, I couldn't possibly show them to you all in one go. So we're going to show you what we've got come up there on the screen. And you can have a look through there. So this is the Crafter's Companion Learn Embossing 26-piece bundle. So you've got Sarah's Signature Garden Party, 5x7 3D embossing folder with towering teacups. You've got the Gemini 6x6 embossing folder with stamp and die with love. We've got Country Lane 3D embossing folder, which is the Grand Oak. We've got Crafter's Companion Centura Pearl single colour A4, a 10-sheet pack in black. We've got Crafter's Companion Centura Pearl Metallic A4 single colour, 10 sheets again, this time in white gold, and also the PVO gilding wax, near my teeth in then, gilding wax Empire Gold 30ml pot. I kept trying to say gliding wax for some reason. You're getting so much in your embossing pack. Now that should be £43.94. And that would be a fantastic price because you can 26 pieces in there. This is everything that you need to get going with embossing, learning to emboss. But, of course, this is Wake Up with Hobby Maker, and that means early morning madness deals. The early bird catches the worm, and as always, we're going to do you some fantastic prices. So, how would you like, I don't know, 25% off? What about 30% off? 30% off? What do we think? 30%? Do you think we can beat that? I think we can. I think we can. Let's under £30. Under £30 for your complete embossing starter kit. $29.99. $29.99. Now, if you've got a die cutting or embossing machine, you could be getting this home and getting cracking straight away. You've got everything that you need there. You've got the gilding wax, you've got the cardstock there, you've got the embossing folders, you've got everything that you need to get cracking. $29.99. But we could do with some inspiration, Craig, I think. How about showing us what we could do?
Oh, go on then, let's do that. Let's show you what you could be doing with these ones here. Just to say, that Pebeo wax itself, you'll find that round about $11.99 just for that on its own.
Wow.
So the fact that you're getting everything that you showed there, Ben, and as you said, in total, okay, it's 6 items, but it's 26 pieces.
Yes.
For instance, the folder that we'll show you later on, the 6x6, that is a folder, that is a die, and that's a stamp as well. So this bundle is absolutely phenomenal. So what I'll do is we'll dive straight in, but this is something that you can be doing with the folder we're away to use. So it's the folder right in the background we want to have a look at. So you can be running it through your cardstock, white cardstock, keep it as it is when it comes to the embossing, but then throughout the show I'll show you some blending with the water reactive ink, so you could do that as well if you want to. It's 3D, so you get incredible depth. This is something similar to what I'm away to do, because in that bundle you've got your Centura Pearl black cardstock, so you can see you can then pop them onto a box if you want to. Just to show as well, that with love, that is actually the stamp and the die that comes in with that 6x6 folder. So this goes to show that you can start to mix and match them. This one here, I'm actually going to show you this one because it's nice and bright.
Wow.
This is actually the 6x6 folder. So what you've got, Ben, is it is one folder, but one half you've got a design, the bottom half you've got another design, and then what you can either do is leave it without this sentiment. You've got this lovely flat wave throughout your embossed line, or this is a die that comes included and the stamps included, so you can then break it up. Or what about something that I do love doing, and this is just white on white. This is white multi-purpose on white Centura Pearl on a bit of black card. It could be flower forming, but how elegant and sophisticated is that? And you can be doing that with that folder as well. So let's go in and let's use that towering teacups. Just say as well, this is a folder that was part of a Sarah's signature collection. So it's not as if it's one that's just been sitting in our warehouse. You know, it's part of a very popular Sarah signature. Now, I have done many a technique with this folder in the past, Ben, so mine is a little bit discoloured from previous colouring, but this goes to show as well that doesn't affect the emboss. So you can do lots of techniques that you'll have found and seen on Hobby Maker or online, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect your embossing folder. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a feel of one side where we've got a real dip, we've got a deboss. The other side here, this is the emboss, so this is quite high, it's quite proud. So what I want is I want that detail to push upwards. I want that to push up so my black Centura Pearl is raised in detail. So I'm going to set that one on the top. I've cut mine to the size, so this is just shy of 5x7, and then I'm going to close that. I'm going to be using our Gemini Junior. When it comes to our Gemini range, whether it's the Junior or, of course, our A4, you're going to need your base cutting plate, you're going to need your magnetic shim, and you're going to need your plastic shim. That is for any 3D embossing folder. What I would say as well, if you go for this bundle today, you know, everything that you see is getting it all for $29.99. These folders and that, these will work with any other die cutting machine you've got as well. You will just need to check out the manufacturer's steps, guides to the plates that you need. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one up. So then what we've got, so I'm going to tilt it slightly for the light to catch. That is absolutely exquisite. Now, it's called a 3D embossing folder because you've got multiple depths. So what we've got is we've got this detailed background, which is on one level. Then we've got parts of the teacups, which are another level. We've got the handle that's kind of in between. And then these tiny little details, these are even higher. So this is what we mean by 3D. Now, on Centura Pearl, black looks elegant, it looks lovely, but let's go in with our wax. This one being our Empire Gold wax. Little is what you need, and then you can then build up. If you put too much, of course, you can't take away, but if you put too little, you can always add. You can use some of our blending foam pads that we've got on the show as well. I do find, for me, and a lot of people would say the same, I have a better control when it comes to my finger. It doesn't affect your finger, it's not harmful. All you need to do is wipe it off warm water, or maybe if you've still got some hand sanitizer, something like that, and it's going to be taking it off, no problem. And then I'm going to keep my finger flat, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to roll in circular motions. And what's happening is because I'm keeping tip of my finger flat, that wax is only sitting on top of the raised detail.
Wow, look
so
at
if I
that.
turn that you can see here. And then the good thing as well, there's many good things about 3D embossing folders, but the really good thing is because you've got that multiple depth bin, it means some's going to be light in gold, some's going to be mediocre. The real raised part of your folder is then going to be really strong in gold. Now, of course, if you've got other waxes, you could be using these, but the fact is we've got that lovely bundle where you're getting a wax included as well. And I have to say that my one that I've got, this isn't actually my one, this is our one that we use here, but my one that I've got at home, I have had for even before I started working at Crafter's Companion. I want to say I've had mine for about a good 5.5 years, and I am not anywhere near a quarter of the way. Because you can see here, I'm actually using very little. You don't need much whatsoever. And all that I'm doing is I'm carrying on, I'm building up, going back little at a time, and then I'm going to go in so I know that we've got more of that raised detail around the saucer. We've got more around the handle. Then where we've got the detail around the teacups, we can then go in. So picking up, not wasting any, we're just going in, we're picking up with the finger, and then we're working. Once again, circular motions. This would work if you may have some 2D embossing folders in your stash. You can do exactly the same. It just means you're not going to get that multiple depth of wax coverage, but you're still going to get an incredible coverage. So working my way around. And then what you can then do, similar to what I was doing here, cherry pick sections. So you don't only have to intensify the colour of wax on the real high detail emboss. You can go in, and if you want to go in and add a little bit more around the edge, you can do that. We're just working it in. We're working our way around. So what we can then do is start to build it up, work our way all the way around, all 4 edges. And then at first glance, you're thinking it looks lovely on the Centura Pearl, which is black. Then you add this Empire Gold, and then you get a lovely antique look. You've got a really beautiful look. So I'm going to go forward, and then I'm going to do a little bit of tipping.
That's just
so you
absolutely
can see
incredible. That you've
Isn't it incredible?
I can't believe the effect that you've got on there. That looks like it's embossed metal. I can't believe how easy that was.
It's got that feel to it, doesn't it? And you can do that on your black matte cardstock. You can do it on some of your other cardstocks as well, but it looks beautiful on your Centura Pearl. And then what I'm going to do here, simply going around with my tape runner. I've already done a couple of mats and layers here to start with. Now, the white is our white multi-purpose cardstock. I know we've had on the show many, many times. And this little bit of blue, which, believe it or not, is actually going to set off the gold and the black just perfectly. This is from a bundle we had in the past. This is our blue luxury cardstock. It might even still be on the website. You could check it out. However, it could be also any other brand of the blue. Then what we can do is if I come forward again, that white even more makes that emboss stand out. And that blue, it's kind of like it bounces the eye to the edge and pulls it back into the middle. And then all that I'm going to do is, whereas that finished sample I showed you was on a box, you could do that. Whereas what I'm going to do with this one, Ben, keeping it very, very simple and elegant. Okay, I had my mats and layers already cut, but the rest I've done in front of your eyes. All you need to do is a little die cut sentiment, and that is it. That's all that you need to do when it comes to the card. I'm going to bring in that box again so that you can see where we've gone in. So what I would say is this one has been done in a different shade of the gold. And again, we did have them in the past on the Hobby Maker website. However, this just goes to show embossing with your Junior, with your large Gemini, any other branded machine. Remember, you could do it with the MIDI and that as well, but run it through your folder. Keep it as simple and elegant in that Black Centura Pearl, or you've got that in that bundle, that 6-piece bundle, where you're getting the 26 pieces in total. You can do that with the other folder if you want to. Keep it very, very simple. The recipient would be like, wow, where did you buy that? And you can say, I made that, and they don't even need to know that it literally took less than 5 minutes.
That's just absolutely incredible. I can't believe what you've achieved in such a short space of time with essentially really, you know, a limited range with just the starter pack, because you've got the embossing folder in there for the 3 teacups there. And when you applied the gilding wax, I mean, that's just absolutely phenomenal. And it really, really shows the depth, I think, as well, of the embossing folder. And to actually just mat and layer that, and you're good to go. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. So don't forget, of course, we've got a range of techniques, a range of refreshers, a range of demos for you this morning, all at fantastic prices for the bundles. And Craig's using all the items out of the different bundles this morning. You know, a lot of people pay a lot of good money just to see the demos, you know, and you're getting the demos for free. And of course, we've got the fantastic deals on the bundles because it's early morning madness here. These should be £44 for the bundle that you've just seen. That's how much it should be. Nearly £44. Just a recap of what you're getting in there. So you're getting Sarah's Signature Garden Party 5x7 3D embossing folder, towering teacups. You've just seen Craig demonstrate that. Looks absolutely phenomenal. Can't believe the depth of that. You're getting the Gemini 6x6 embossing folder with the stamp and die with love. Country Lane 3D embossing folder with the Grand Oak. You're also getting, I mean, that's 3 embossing folders before we go any further. Crafter's Companion Centura Pearl single colour A4 10 sheet pack in black, which again you've just seen Craig demonstrating there. You're getting the Crafter's Companion Centura Pearl metallic A4 single colour again 10 sheet pack in white gold, and the Pebeo. God, I always never quite say that right. Pebeo, that's how we say it. Pebeo. Get your teeth in, Ben. I'm doing it again. The Pebeo gilding wax of Empire Gold. That's a 30ml pot. And Craig was just saying how long his pot of the gilding wax just lasts. They just last and last because you're just using that tiny amount on the tip of your finger there to create that kind of effect. Absolutely phenomenal. Should be nearly £44 to get the bundle, but not this morning. This morning, it's under £30. $29.99. And your gilding wax is going to last a long time. I nearly said a lifetime. Could last you a lifetime. I mean, use it sparingly. But your embossing folders, if you look after those embossing folders, they are really going to last you over and over and over again. And one of the things as well that Craig said though is, you know, the embossing folders, along with the other items, you know, they're universal. So it doesn't matter what die cutting embossing machine you've got, you'll be able to use those over and over and over again. You just need to check, of course, the best way to lay your plate sandwich, depending on your machine. $29.99. Put those in your basket. There's lots and lots more coming up, but don't be worried about checking out. Don't think, well, I'm going to wait until we see anything else, because putting it in your basket doesn't secure the item. That's really, really important to remember. It doesn't secure the item. You do need to check out. And there'll be lots of people phoning our UK-based free phone call centre, and they could be putting those items in the basket. And, you know, as Craig said, you know, some of the items in there from Sarah's Signature Collection and so on, they're really, really popular items, and we've bundled them for you. If you do want any of them individually, do check out the website. You can visit the website and, of course, search both down below today's show, but also just search for Crafter's Companion in general. And you see a wide range of Crafter's Companion products, but do keep an eye on the show page itself, because you'll see everything that's being demonstrated today on the show and in bundles. And that's, of course, the best way to buy. Now, we're going to be doing the Edgeables next. If you're not familiar with the Edgeables, Craig is going to, again, be doing another demo for us. We're cram-packed full of demos this morning. But remember, early morning madness, great deals, bundles. You're getting a lot in the bundles. These are all sort of starter bundles, basic bundles. Should be Almost £45. Should be almost £45. Here's everything that you get. So in the Learn Edgeables, you're getting, again, 29 pieces. And actually something that Craig said on the previous bundle, you know, you're getting essentially, you might be getting six different items, but they're made up of 26, 29 pieces you're actually getting in your bundles. You're getting the Gemini die edgeables, congratulations. The Gemini metal die edgeable Ditsy Daisies, the die brush tool and the foam pad, really important those. I mean, they're essentials really. You're also getting in there the cherry cardstock, that's all Centura Pearl, plus you're getting the baby blue as well, plus the Harmony water reactive ink pads. Now in there you're getting the Damson white, and you're getting the Spar Blue. On top of that, you're also getting Spectrum Noir. Does that name ring a bell? It should do. Very, very popular. You're getting the Spectrum Noir blending tool, and they're round, and you're getting 3 pieces in that. So all in all, in your bundle, you're actually getting 29 pieces. Should be about 45, nearly £45. 44.92 is what it should be. Not today. Certainly Morning Madness. The price this morning for your bundle is under £30. Under £30 again. Craig, how do we do it? I just don't know how we do it. What a phenomenal price. Incredible.
I know. When I was first told, Ben, that this was going to be kind of like a learning show, learning bundles, I thought, for instance, let's say that last bundle, I thought it would be one embossing folder. With this bundle here I'm away to show you, I thought it would be one edgeable. But the fact that you've got 2, then you've got your extra water reactive inks, you're getting a blending tool, I was like, right, okay, the penny dropped. I thought, right, I realise now when you say beginners learning, this really is lovely sets, under £30 for this one as well, and with it being the 8 pieces and 29 pieces in total. So what I'm going to do with this one here is I'm going to show you how to use it in the basic form, and then still in that same demo, we're just going to push it up a notch when it comes to what you can do. So I have got my 6x6 card blank, and I'm going to use this beautiful Ditsy Daisy. Now, if you are new, maybe you are just learning when it comes to edgeables. What edgeables are, they are for the edge of your cards. However, you can be using them in many, many other ways. So what you will find is you've got all your detail that die cuts, and then on one side, Ben, you've got a die cut edge that runs all the way around. So your card stock will be removed from there. However, on the other side, for instance, this one here, there is no cutting edge. So therefore, it stays in the detail of your card. You've got the little notch top and bottom, or left to right, whichever way you're going to be using it, to let you know where that die edge ends. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to bring in my 6x6 card, and we say edgeable, so therefore it can be on the edge of your card. I'm actually going to use it on what will be at the bottom of my card. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my low tack tape to hold it into place. And I like to use my glass mat as a little guide. You can of course use, you know, whatever you want. If you've got a ruler you like to use, you can do. Now because this part here, this will then cut away. But what you can then do is you can pop it wherever you want, Ben. So the further up you go, the more cardstock will be die cut and taken away, and you've got less space at the top. So again, further and further up, this will stay in place with that beautiful die cut along the bottom, and this is all taken away. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use it as much as I can. So I'm going to come down. This is the bigger, longer part of the die here. So I'm going to run that against the edge of my cardstock, and then using my glass mat as a little guide, what I'm doing is I'm just following this line here. I'm going to tape my die down. Now these will go through your Gemini Junior or Midi depending on the card size. What I have done is I have just jumped to my large Gemini simply because I'm going to run it in my machine this way. Now it's just a little bit too tight for my Junior, but you can for instance, say I was only doing a little piece, Ben, because you can use them as a border if you want, then they're going to go through your smaller machines, no problem. So although I'm going through my large Gemini, I'm still just going to use my junior plates. My junior plates will come in very, very handy for something else we've got on this show just shortly. And same plate configuration. So plastic, magnetic, and then top plate. And then all that I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed that one in. So I'm going to feed it into my Gemini. I'm going to let that run all the way through. And then as that one comes out, what I'm going to do is I'm then going to remove this. I'm going to then take this one out. And then what we can do is carefully prise away. So I'm going to prise that away and then prise that away. And because we've got an edge that ends on the die, it removes. Now, if it's just held in ever so slightly, just snip it away. And I'm going to pop all these bits out, but look how it's starting to look already.
Wow.
You've got all of your die cut pieces. These are so simple. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to use my pokey tool. If you don't have something like this, keep an eye on the bundle that we've got coming up just shortly, because you get a pokey tool included. So what I'm then going to do is I'm just popping out. So all that I'm going to go, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to add a little bit of pressure by popping out. For this one, I would be very, very careful because you've got real detail when it comes to the daisies. So I'm going to then hold, if sometimes little bits of the fibre of card hold into place, what I like to do is hold that little die cut down and then pull my card away. Sometimes you'll see here I'll use my finger because it's that detailed. I don't want to tear. So I'm going to pick, and then I'm only doing this on this piece of blue in the back so that you can see it a little bit easier. And there is tools out there that even we do, Ben, that will release your little die cut pieces. But because this is a learner, a beginner, so to speak, bundle, I don't want to use that because you might not have it yet. You might not have it. So therefore, I'm going to use my pokey tool that you may have or may even get shortly. So poking these little bits out, so taking that out into here, there's just one bit there and one bit there, and then there we go. We've got, oh, that little one there, that's going to bug me if it doesn't leave. Go on, go away. There we go. So if I take these bits out here, so what we've then got is we have got that beautiful, which could be, because of the title, an edge of your card. You've got that edgeable factor that we can see here, which is beautiful. It's elegant. You can then pop gems and that in there if you want to. You can absolutely do that. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to stick this together just yet. What I'm going to do, Ben, is I'm going to show you how it will look shortly, but I'm going to take it up a notch in a moment. Little piece of pattern paper that was in a bundle in the past on Hobby Maker. Some of this baby blue Centura pearl. This is a sentiment from one of our sentiment collections we've also had on Hobby Maker, and then a few little die cuts. Now that alone, to me, it looks beautiful, it looks elegant, you know, it's very, very sophisticated, but in a subtle way. So what can you do to pop it up another level? What we can do is let's move that out the way. I'm going to move that out the way now. And this is what I mean by size dependent of your cardstock. They will and can do your smaller machines. So I'm just going to take these little bits out, and I've taken a little strip of our baby blue Centura pearl, 6 by 2 inches. And I'm going to do what I'd done a moment ago. I'm going to use my glass mat as a little guide. I'm going to tape that down there and there. And then once again, I'm going to go in with my plates. So I'm going to pop that in plastic, magnetic, and then of course our top plate. So what I'm then going to do is to give it a little bit of a helping hand, because you can do that with the Gemini, I paused it and then reversed it. I do that a lot when it comes to Edgeables, because what you need to keep in mind, Ben, is because Edgeables are long, Now, our Gemini, it is unrivaled pressure, edge to edge, but do you know what? There is no harm. Look at that, I just missed that very edge, but it's all in place. So all that I need to do is run it through again. So it's not going to harm it, it's not going to affect it. So if you do that reverse function and you've maybe just not caught the edge, pop it through. So let's bring that one through.
And what I love about that, Craig, as well, is the reverse function. If you're a bit limited on space in your craft room or you've got it up against the wall, I love that reverse function.
It really, really is so handy. Now look at that.
Wow.
Even on that little strip, every little piece, literally every little piece has come out.
Wow.
Now, if you do love to do things such as fussy cutting, or not fussy cutting, paper piecing.
Okay.
I'm not going to do this, Ben, but what I will do is I'll verbally explain that if you are new to your Edgeables, what you can then do is stick this onto another piece of cardstock and then run this die through again in another colour. And then what you're wanting is what would be the waste pieces, you're just going to stick back in place using a little bit of glue, and that's your paper piecing. So you can still do that on your Edgeables. But then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a little bit of a drop shadow. So I'm going to use a piece of adhesive for this one. So let's use my tape runner for this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm on the back of it, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use my dots. Now, as I say, you can use any adhesive you want. At home, when I've got a little bit more time, I do like my tacky glue, and I know it's usually a staple item on the Hobby Maker website, but if you've got one of our sprays, adhesive sprays, you can use whatever you feel comfortable with. Then what I'm going to do is I like to sit my little Edgeable onto my glass mat. I'm popping a little bit of tape on my glass mat to hold it into place, and then I'm going to create a drop shadow. So what that means, and the best way for me to explain it, Ben, is I hover directly over the top of my baby blue die cut, and then I pull down to the bottom right-hand corner, just for a couple of millimeters. I pull it down, and then once I've got it in place, I press it into place. Then what that gives me is a shadow, a drop shadow. So I'm just going to rub that in. So even the little daisies, you've got the little leaves, but these tiny pinpoint dots all the way along. You could stitch that if you want to. Absolutely, you could do that. And then on the edge of my card, what I've then got is that drop shadow
that's really
from the baby blue. You can do any colour you want. And then to stabilise it, because that will stand, but you know, it's got, actually, I was about to say it's got a bit of a rock to it. It doesn't actually. It stands absolutely perfectly and proudly. What I'm then going to do, and in actual fact, I was going to add a piece of acetate to the back there, but do you know what? I don't even need it. It stands proud, strong on its own. So therefore, what I'm then going to do is let's take in a piece of the pattern paper that I've got here. Now, this could be one from your paper library, or I was at Hobby Maker at the weekend there with some pattern papers that you can use. But I'm going to press that one into there. And then what I'm also going to do, a piece of the baby blue as well. My card is 6 by 6, so this is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I'm going to sit that one to the back there, press that in, and then, as I said, a sentiment from your own stash. What you can then do is stamp your sentiment, die cut your sentiment, but I'm going to pop that one into the middle there. I've got a couple of daisy dies that I have within my stash. Pop that one there. And if you wanted to, you could pop little gems or pearls. Don't worry against tone on tone, blue versus blue, because when we lift it up, you're still going to get that drop shadow. What I'm going to do is, because we're on a glass mat, we've got Bambi legs, the joy of a glass mat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that, let's take my backing off. I thought I'd taken my backing off. Let's go in, pop that one in, and then there we go. pop that into play, you've got your edgeable. So the initial concept, Ben, would be on the edge of your card.
Yeah.
But then what you can absolutely do is do it as a tent fold, as I've done here. But then what you can then do is your concepts, your foldbacks, your pullbacks, your dioramas, you can put them on the edge of steppers. But that's not the only edgeable die you've got. You've got what we call a Debbie Fishable. And these were an idea that Debbie had put. For anyone that's wondering what that means, everyone here, Ben, every single person in the company, a couple of times a year, Leanne gives us all the option. If we've got any ideas, we can submit them to Leanne and the team. And this die concept with an edgeable, with a sentiment die cut as well, this was an idea that Debbie had put forward. So we now call it a Debbie Fishable. Use it in the exact same way that I've just used a moment ago, but you've got the congratulations that die cuts out, but then what you've got is you've got all the little letters that will then, don't use them as waste, keep them for other cards, or paper piece them back into play. So you've got all that included as well. I've not even used the water reactive inks that you've got within the bundle, the blending tools you've got in the bundle. These are great staples within your stash, not just to use with these, but to use the other ones as well. So getting that 8-piece in total with the 29 pieces, it is a phenomenal way to start your edgeables.
I absolutely love what you've created there, and the drop shadow is just kind of slightly offsetting it, aren't you?
It does.
Can you do that with all the edgeable dies and get that kind of effect?
Absolutely, and it's actually something I do a lot, Ben, because I think it's worthwhile doing. She said you don't have to, but that little effect that it gives you. And sometimes people think more of a darker card, a black, a craft card, a navy, but that just goes to show you can do it in whichever colour cardstock you want. If you've got that extra 9 to, let's say 20 seconds, if you take into account attaching it to your card, if you've got that extra 20 seconds, it's worthwhile doing that drop shadow.
And I love how intricate as well the daisies are. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if we wanted to create cards with these, Craig, and then sell them, perhaps on our craft stall or on our online store or something like that, can we do that with these?
Absolutely anywhere. Anywhere you can sell them. There's no exceptions. I know some people will say you can't do it online or you can't do it on an online selling site or that. Anywhere you want. The main thing is you can make a profit even for charity, or if it's for your own stash to make a few extra pounds to, either save or buy some crafty goodies. You can do it, of course you can.
We all go for the latter, don't we? Both top up our crafty stashes with the extra few pennies. I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I just can't believe how much you're getting there. 29 pieces that you're getting in there as well for under £30. What an incredible price. Just a quick reminder, if you've just joined us, it's Early Morning Madness here with Wake Up with Hobbymaker. I've been joined by Craig from Crafter's Companion, who's doing an educational demo this morning, all throughout the show, right through till 8 o'clock. And we've got some fantastic bundles. We're covering embossing, die cutting, we're covering waxing, everything that you want. Let's just give you a quick reminder as to what you're getting in that bundle that Craig has just been showing us. So the Crafter's Companion Learn Edgeables 29-piece bundle. You're getting the Gemini die edgeables, congratulations. Ditsy Daisies, which is the one that Craig has just been showing us. You're also getting as well the Gemini die brush tool and foam pad. Now that's something that you heard Craig mention there, because it was a beginner's demo, just showing you with the pokey tool, but you get the little foam mat with the brush as well. That's going to help you knock out those pieces from your cut dies very quickly and easily. An absolute must. You're also getting the Centura Pearl A4 10 sheet pack in cherry, and you're also getting that in baby blue, again, which you've just seen Craig showing us there. You're getting the ink pads as well, so you're getting the Harmony Water. These are reactive, by the way, water reactive. Harmony Water reactive. Damson Wine, you're getting in there. You're also getting the Spa Blue, plus you're getting the Spectrum Noir blending tool. And there's actually 3 pieces in that as well, because you're getting the handle and you're getting the pads in there too. Normally, just short of £45 you'd pay for that particular bundle if you were to get those items individually. But it's big savings this morning. It's big savings. So $29.99, under £30. Now, you might want to get the bundle, because we talk about the bundles and these are, you've got some starter packs and so on, but what you might do is you might go, do you know what? I could do with a little restock of the Centura Pearl, but I actually already have a blending tool or already have the brush tool. What a great way to get some Christmas presents in, some stocking fillers, getting the bundle, restocking your own crafty stash, and then any items that are perhaps duplicates that you perhaps don't need. Great way to get those items practically, get those extra items essentially for free because you're making that saving of 10, what did we say, 10, it's £30, £15. It's getting a saving of £15. So that's like a third off essentially. And then you might therefore use that as a way to get some extra items. But most people will want extras. They'll want them in the crafty stash. You might have some blending tools upstairs and downstairs. You might have them in the caravan, the motorhome, on the boat. You might want them permanently in your craft bag so you don't have to keep restocking it. This is a great way to replenish that crafty stash. And if you are new, of course, to crafting and paper crafting in particular, this is a great way to get it going. Don't forget as well, you saw the machine on there, the die cutting machine that Craig was using. That's also available on the website, so do keep your peepers peeled for that. That is on there as well. Everything that you're seeing on the show today is all available via the website. Now, we've also got coming up some double-sided dies. Now, again, this is coming to you in a bundle. As always, a great saving because it's Wake Up with Hobby Maker. £48.94, so just short of £50 is what you would normally pay. Now, if you are new to Hobby Maker, you may not know this yet, but our regular viewers will know that if the bundle is just the sort of thing they're looking for, they'll be popping that in their basket now because there's only one direction the price goes on Wake Up with Hobby Maker, and it ain't up. So, don't forget, get your items in your crafty basket and get them checked out. And if you check out before we reveal the price, it doesn't matter because our Hobby Maker pledge to you is you'll always pay the lowest price. We process our orders at the end of the day. £29.99. So again, under £30 we're getting for the double-sided dies 27-piece bundle. Again, should be just short of £50. So you're saving £20. What do we get? Well, we get the double-sided die, the dancing butterflies. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned because you're going to get to see how these double-sided dies work. The Gemini Junior cutting plates for the double-sided dies. That's really important. They do need to be replenished at various points, and getting the extra plates is a real bonus. And these can be used on your Gemini Junior. Also, you're getting the Centura Pearl again, single colour, 10-sheet pack, this time baby pink, and you're also getting deep purple. I like a bit of deep purple. And then also you're getting a second double-sided layerable Edgeables die. Try saying that in the morning real fast. And that one's called String of Lights. And you're also getting the all-important pokey tool, which Craig was just talking about a few minutes ago, the pokey tool. You're getting 2 pieces in there. Now don't forget, you're getting all of this in here for £30. Under £30. Should be closer to £50. Should be closer to £50. So everything that you need. I love as well the Centura Pearl. I really love these. They're in the packaging at the moment. So can we open these? Shall I open? I'm just going to open them. Just so you can really appreciate the sheen that you get on these. Because this is one of my favourite cardstocks, the Centura Pearl. Let me just get that out the bottom there. I'm opening the packets, boss. Huh? Too late now. You'll have to give these away to me now because I've opened them. I don't think so. That was Kat, by the way, producer Kat. I haven't introduced you to the crafty crew this morning. So here we go. Here's the Centura Pearl. But one of the reasons I wanted to get these out of the packet is because I just don't think you can appreciate in the packet the sheen on the Centura Pearl cards. All of the Centura Pearl cardstock is just phenomenal. Look at that. Don't those colours go really nicely together? I absolutely love the Centura Pearl. And for most people, it is a staple item in their craft stash. I really love those indeed. £29.99. Don't forget, you're going to get both of these in there. You're also getting the double-sided dies as well, and you're getting the pokey tools and the plates. So everything that you need to get going. Now, I'm a little bit intrigued, Craig, I've got to say, by the double-sided dies. I've not seen this before, so I'm interested to see how this works.
Yeah, well, it's something that when it comes to the craft industry, you will only ever find and ever see double-sided dies with us. Now, I can't say that certain word, so I'll just say they're exclusive. But we do have the... See, I've just led myself down that hole there. I can't say it. I'm kind of stumbling because I'm waiting on our guys in my ear telling me the word, because it's something patented.
Patented.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
Yes.
So you will only ever find them with us at Crafter's Companion. And they're double-sided dies, and that literally means it's a die that's double-sided. So you can use them in an edgeable way, or you can use one side on it. So, do you know what? Let's just show you. Let's show you what I mean. So I've gone in with a card blank. So this one here is a 4x6 card blank. And then I'm going to bring in the die now. Now what you're going to find is, it is, as I say, double-sided. So if you are like me and you do that thing that Leanne says never to do, and that is tap your die off the edge of your counter because you want to take the little bits out, do not do that with the double-sided dies because you will damage them because they're double-sided. So what you do have is you've got on one side, you've got a lot less die cutting edge. So for this one, we've got the edge of the die that runs all the way around, and you've got little detail in here. Now, this is where you can use it in that same way as I showed you in the last demo. If we turn it around, what we've got is we have got a detailed die. So that will die cut the beautiful outline of the butterflies. Now, you can use that separate, but what you're then going to do is you're going to layer this side on top of this side once it's cut.
Clever.
It's really clever. It
That's
really
wasted
is.
space, Craig, isn't it? When you think all these dies that you've been buying over the years, and there's two sides to a die, and we only ever have a cutting edge on one side. You actually, it's almost getting two dies in one.
Exactly, it really is. And you'll see how you can use them in different ways as I show you what you can do with this one. So thinking back now to that Edgeable demo I'd done a moment ago, I'm doing exactly the same there. This will be on the edge of my card, as you'll see. Now, if you do use your low-tack tape to tape down, what I would say with the double-sided dies is just be careful and have a look where there's no die-cut edge. Because if I put my piece right over the top there, then my plates are going to cut through my tape. It's no big deal, but it just means you're going to be left with a little bit of stickiness on your die-cut piece. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to tape this one down here. So what I have then done on this one here is the simple side that has the very little die cutting edge is facing into my cardstock. This side here with all of the detail is then going to be, of course, sitting proud. So what we need, I'm going to then move this one out the way. What we need, Ben, is our two Gemini cutting plates. And what you also need, which you get within this bundle, which is phenomenal. Actually, I'm not going to say it's phenomenal. I'm going to say it's ridiculous that you actually get these included, but you do. Now, key thing with these ones, the reason that you need these is because of the unrivaled pressure from your Gemini, and that's cutting on the two sides. These are extra strong. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Ben, these two here, these are my sets that I have in my craft bag for here and when I'm down at Hobby Maker. And this is my original set. I've never had to replace them.
Wow.
I do have a set at home that I use, and I can tell you with my hand on my heart, I've never had to replace them ever since we've started double-sided dies a number of years ago. And that is because these are so strong. Still flip and rotate them like we would say with our Gemini plates, but that's how strong they are. The two sets that I've got, I've never had to replace. And incidentally, you need two, and it's two that you're getting within this bundle. So what we're going to do, base cutting plate, so we're going to put our first double-sided die plate down, and then what I'm going to do here is we're going to cut into it. So I'm just laying my die down. Then what I need to do is I need a piece of cardstock that we are then going to layer over the top here. So I'm going to use this baby pink. Now, because I want that cardstock to be cut in the baby pink colour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my cardstock over the top. So therefore, my die is going to be cutting into the card. We're then going to put our next double-sided die plate over the top, and then we're going to put our cutting plate over the top there. Now, you may have noticed, and I'm going to say it there, my layer of baby pink there has got my double-sided tape already on there, because I forgot to put a little piece in to die cut. Doesn't matter, it's still going to work. But just in case you're thinking, why has he put double-sided tape on that back layer? That is why. It might just make it a little bit tricky for me to pop out, but don't worry, I do have one that is die cut.
So just to clarify,
so what we
Craig,
can then do...
Can I just clarify?
Yes.
Not only can you use both sides of the die, of the same die, but you can cut both sides of the die simultaneously in one pass. You're not having to take it out and put it back in.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. That one pass, now it is doing this base layer, which at first, and to be granted, you're probably not going to use this layer on its own. You'll see why in a moment, but you do get an outline of the butterfly. I am going to use my pokey tool once again. So what we're going to then pop this one out. And you may have noticed when I was saying in the last demo about a collection with a pokey tool, this is the one. This is where you're getting the 2 pokey tools. And let me tell you, you need 2. And if you're like me and you're like Debbie Robinson and you're like Jan, you're probably going to have about, 20 of them because we just use them all the time. So there, what I have then got is I have then got my die cut edge here. So I'm going to put a little bit of pattern underneath just so that you can see that is how it's looking. So, as I said a moment ago, you might think, okay, you know what I mean? It's about, what is it exactly? This is where we bring in our next piece. So, keeping in mind, I've got my double-sided tape on here, so it's going to be tricky for me to pop all these little bits out. But what happens, Ben, is this then cuts that whole second piece. So, let me just keep that out. And this is now the detail that we are then a way to pop back over the top. However, this layer you can absolutely use as a standalone die cut element if you want. So all that we're going to do is we're going to pop these ones out, and like you would do with an edgeable, you're going to pop them all out. You're going to use your pokey tool or maybe your die brush. You're going to pop all these bits out. So you
Just
can
while
see
you're
here.
doing that, Craig, can I just ask you a question? You mentioned at the top of the show that the double-sided dies are patented. Well, you and me both struggle with the P word, because patented for you and what was it? Pebio for me. I can never remember which way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Pebio.
Oh, it is Pebio. That wasn't my question, but I just wanted to... Pebio. You mentioned that they're patented. Can I still use this die in at the machines?
So what you'll find is because of the pressure of the Gemini, and what you need to, I'm going to come back to that, but what we need to keep in mind here, Ben, is, so there is people that do use them with other machines, and you'll find it, because if you were to search, you would find it. I'm not going to say people don't, but what you need to take into account is, because it is a double die, it's thicker, so you need to take into account the depth of our plates with the depth of our double-sided plates that all work conjunction to give you that best cut. So I'm not going to say no, you can't, because there is people that do it out there. What I would say is please keep in mind that it is all designed to specific measurements, thickness for you to get that best cut. So
to get the best
that's
out
up to
of
you
it,
if you were...
it wants to go through the Gemini machine to get the best out of it.
That's it. because if you were to use the 2-plate configuration with another machine, obviously our die is thicker.
Sure.
So therefore, you know, it might not work, it might tear your cardstock, it might buckle, anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say here and say, no, you definitely can, but
Yes.
please just think and keep in mind the measurement, the width, the dimensions of the die. So what I'm then going to do is now the only reason these bits aren't popping out with ease, Ben, is because I've got my tape on the back. So there's a lesson for you. So what I am going to do is I'm going to bring in one that I've already done. So I've already cut this one out here. And what I would say as well, and you may have noticed that I've used my junior cotton plates in with my large Gemini. So your double-sided dies, these are going to work with your Gemini Junior and your large Gemini. These two machines, these are the two that you're going to use to create your double-sided die effect. So here we go. So now what we can do is let's bring this layer in. Once you've popped all the bits out, I've already got a little bit of adhesive on the back. So carefully peeling these ones away. So then what you can do, Ben, is taking that die cut piece, we've got a little strand there, let's just take that one off. We can then overlay this one over the top, and then you're going to get that backdrop of the butterfly outline. You're then going to then pop these on top, and that backdrop die cut then makes sense. The little apertures are there in between the wings of the butterfly. They're there with the little flowers in between each individual butterfly. But then what you can do as well is that piece that I've just cut there, that is a piece that you can use anywhere else, Ben, other cards, other projects. You might want to fussy cut them. You can absolutely do that if you want to. But the whole point of the double-sided edgeable die, it gives you that base outline, but what it also gives you is that die cut detail to pop into position, to finish it off.
Wow.
And then all that I'm going to do is add a couple of strips. Another piece of pattern paper, which was actually from our paper library that I know we had on Hobby Maker. And this is still the baby pink Centura Pearl. That one is going to go down into the side. Now with this one, although this is a 4x6 card blank, Ben, you can do that on any size that you want to. Do you know what I mean? You just need to keep in mind the depth or the height, the length, whichever way you're cutting it. But of course, that is then going to go onto the edge of your card. Another sentiment that we brought a while back on Hobby Maker, it's a girl, and let's pop on a bow at the top there. So you've got the beautiful butterflies at the edge there. So that could be for a new baby, of course, but it could be sending a birthday card to someone. It could be a card with the butterflies just to say, I'm thinking of you. But that was one pass through your Gemini Junior or your large Gemini, the 2 cutting plates for your Gemini, and the 2 double-sided plates, which you're getting included within this bundle. It is absolutely crazy, 27 pieces in total. And in actual fact, these are a few of the other things that you could do to show that it doesn't necessarily have to be on a straight edge of the card. What you can do is you can extend it, Ben, if you're going to be using your large Gemini. So die cut it on one half of your card blank and then just feed it through again on the opposite side. You can then cut in. So if you create your own little aperture, you can cut in. And then that's not the only edgeable double-sided die you're going to get. You're going to get a Christmas one as well. So it's the lights that you're going to get here. So you're going to use it in the exact same way. Your one side is going to create the outline of the edge, and then the opposite side is going to create that string light. So the top of your card, or create that on the inside of the card. You're going to use that in the exact same way that I have done. And what I must point out as well, everything that I've got on the show this morning. We've done videos, we've done tutorials, so although you can watch back on the Hobby Maker website for the 7 days catch-up, you can go back onto our YouTube, just type in the title of the collection and you'll find lots of ideas from all of us on the team.
That's absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm blown away by the double-sided dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe nobody's thought of doing that before.
I know, I know.
It's just phenomenal. Just one pass.
It really is
cutting both sides, but they are designed to layer on top of each other. But you can also use them separately, so you're almost getting 2 dies in one. I think that's absolutely incredible. I love it, absolutely love it. Now, just a quick note, if anybody notices if I've talked over Craig slightly, there's a bit of a delay between me hearing Craig and him hearing me, because he's actually at Crafters Companion headquarters this morning, which is good. If you've just joined us, my name's Ben Murray. You're watching Wake Up with Hobby Maker with myself and Craig Laird from Crafters Companion, where we are showing you some fantastic bundle deals and some early morning madness, showing you some fantastic beginner demos as well, how to use these bundles. Now, this particular bundle should be nearly £50. Nearly £50 on the bundle that we've just been showing you, Craig's just been demonstrating. So you're saving essentially 20 quid, really. You're saving almost 20 quid. And just a quick reminder as to what you're getting in there. You're getting in your 2 dies, so you're getting the double-sided dies. One is Dancing Butterflies, which you've just seen Craig demonstrating, and also one of the samples there, the String of Lights. I think they're brilliant. Now, they would be £12.99 each ordinarily, so if you wanted to get those separately, £12.99 is what you'd pay. But you're also getting the cutting plates, which you need for these particular sorts of dies. They're £12.99 on their own. You're also getting, as well, the 2 lots of Centura Pearl, the baby pink, and also the deep purple as well. And you're getting your twin pack pokey tool as well. So you're getting all of that in there for just £29.99. So you're really paying for the 2 dies and 1 set of Centura Pearl, really. And everything else, if you want to look at it that way, essentially is free, because you're saving nearly 20 quid. That's absolutely incredible. Now, don't forget as well that those double-sided dies will fit in and the plates will fit in your Gemini and your Gemini Junior. And you're really getting essentially 2 dies in one on each of those, because although they're designed to go together and coordinate and complement each other, you could use them separately as well. So don't miss out on that. You're saving nearly £20. I mean, you just don't see these sorts of deals ordinarily. Absolutely incredible. And I love the Centura Pearl. Absolutely phenomenal. So this morning is all about techniques, showing you how the bundles work and so on and so forth with the fantastic Craig. But we're stepping away from the embossing folders and the die cutting just for a moment, the die cutting machine, because we're going to be showing you some colouring as well. So we're going to demonstrate to you how to do some blending and use those colours and really, really get the most out of the colours that you've got. And we've got a fantastic bundle for you again. Don't forget, a lot of these items are available individually on the website, but as we all know, the best way to buy is a bundle. So don't miss out on that. Now, we've got here the Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend pens, which we've got in here. Now, this particular one is Finesse. Exotic Blends, beg your pardon, I haven't got my glasses on. Exotic Blends, there we go. Now, why are they called tri-blend pens? You can see on here you're getting 2 pens, but you're actually getting 3 nibs, so to speak. And in each of those, you're getting a different shade or variation of the same colour that have been designed to complement each other, blend together in the best possible way. So the thought has been done for you. You can reach for one of these pens out of your stash, and you already know that the 3 shades are going to blend together seamlessly. You're getting a selection of colours, of course, in the pack as well. As you can see, we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pens, but 18 colours, because each of the pens gives you 3 colours. I remember the first time I saw these and I wondered, how on earth Do you get 3 nibs on 1 pen? I just couldn't get my head around it. And then once I'd seen them and seen how these blend together, I was absolutely blown away. They're, of course, Spectrum Noir, trusted brand, real great quality. And this is a way as well to get your hands on 18 colours, but by buying just the pack of 6 pens. So you're getting incredible value. These, again, are great gifts. They're great stocking fillers, but they're great staple items for your crafty stash. Now, that's not everything that you're getting in your crafty bundle. You're also going to be getting, I've got some selection. You're getting this, the stamping platform, which I'll show you here. Now, the stamping platform is 6 by 6. It's a good size. If you've not used one of these before, you're going to find out how these work. Very straightforward, very clever system that you get on there. You're also getting 16 sheets of your A4 card as well. But you're also getting, on top of that, a photopolymer stamp, which is Believe in Magic as well. And you're getting the ink pad. So you're getting the Finesse by Spectrum Noir alcohol-proof dye ink pad, rustic brown. Now, this is our most expensive bundle that we've shown you yet. $53.95 is the price if you were to get these items individually. But another bundle below £30. So the first bundle you were saving about £15, the second bundle you were saving about £20. On this bundle you're saving nearly £25. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you don't think you can draw, don't worry about that, because we are going to, well, not me, because I don't have any talents in that area. The extremely talented Craig Laird is going to show you some fantastic techniques using the bundle. But don't forget, $29.99, normally nearly £55. If you've got it in your basket, get it checked out. We don't have container loads of these bundles available. You do need to make sure that you are getting checked out. Don't forget, if you've just joined us, my name is Ben Murray. I'm with Craig Laird from Crafter's Companion, and you're watching Wake Up with Hobbymaker every day, 6 until 8, where we bring you phenomenal deals. The early bird always catches the deal. So we want to see you here in the mornings. And, well, the early bird catches the worm, we should say. Oh, it might catch the deal. You're the early bird's catching the deal this morning. Anyway, I digress. Do make sure that you get these. If you're new to Hobbymaker, let me assure you as well that we have the Hobbymaker pledge here, which means you'll always pay the lowest price. So don't be afraid to check out. You're only going to pay one P&P all day, which is just $3.95, no matter how many times you order. And if the price on any of the items that you've ordered on the show today should drop, you will pay the lowest price. You can pre-order all of the items on the show on the website. Don't worry about pre-order. Pre-order doesn't mean we're ordering it today, you're getting it in 3 months' time. It means you're ordering it before we've shown it to you. That's all it means. So get it in your basket and get that checked out. $29.99. I think you can see where we're going with bundles this morning, Craig, can't you? At $29.99. There's a pattern developing.
Absolutely. This is absolutely, and actually just say as well, because I can still hear you, Ben, absolutely you're not chatting over me. As you say, it's like we've got that little bit of a delay going back and forward, so, you know, please don't worry, I've not thought that, that's for sure. Right, $29.99, okay? Your tri-blends alone, your pack of exotic tri-blends alone are worth $19.99.
Wow.
Your stamping platform alone is worth $14.99. So that's you above the $29.99. You're round about that £34, £35 mark. But then you're getting your alcohol-proof ink pad. You are getting your Believe in Magic stamp included, which is 4 stamps. And I've cut mine down, but you are getting 16 sheets of A4 Nina cardstock. This is the most beautiful, smoothest cardstock that is perfect for your alcohol colouring. Whether it's tri-blends, whether it's Classiques, Illustrators, or any other branded alcohol markers, your Nina cardstock, for me, in personal opinion, even before I worked for the company, is the absolute best. So for getting all of that for $29.99 is phenomenal. So what we're going to do is let's do a little bit of colouring. Because you have got the 6 pens, if you are new to tri-blends, or you might be new to us, or you might be new to hobby maker, crafting in general, what you have then got, and this is an ingenious idea, this is one that Sarah had, and Leanne and the team were like, don't think it could be done, can't be done, can't be done. And Sarah, being Sarah, was like, you've got to make it happen. And Leanne did. These are our alcohol pens. Now, if you're familiar with our Classique, it's the same alcohol ink that you'll find within the Classiques that's in the tri-blends. This one here, Ben, is magenta. So what you have got, instead of 3 separate shades of magenta or pink, you've got the light tone at one side, you've got the dark tone at the other side, and then right in the middle, you've got the mid-tone. So you can do all the blending within one pen. Now you can use light on its own, you can use the dark on its own, you can use the mid on your own. You don't have to blend if you don't want to. That's 3 separate shades that you've got in total. However, they all work together. So you're getting all 6 pens included. So that is the best way to start your tri-blend experience, in my opinion. So let's take in our Nina cardstock, because that's what you've got. It is the best for your alcohol colouring, so we've put it in for you. I'm going to take my well and truly loved stamp here, which is with the unicorn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it onto my 6x6 stamping platform. Now this one, as I say, it is 6x6. You do have your centimetres round the side, but what you've also got is these spring-loaded feet. So my stamp will not touch my surface, my cardstock, until I press down. So the best way to show that is by bringing a rustic brown alcohol pen, which you've alcohol ink pad that you've got included. And with this one, it lets you see that there's an alcohol pen being used, and it tells you it's alcohol. So you know you're not going to get this mixed up with any of your watercolouring. So all that I'm going to do is stamp. So I'm going all the way around. You can't have too much. Make sure you've got a really, really nice coverage. And I'll show you against the glass mat, and then I'll show you against my cardstock. If I turn that around, that does not do any impressions whatsoever until I press down. So if you have been a little bit uneasy about your stamping in the past, maybe you've not had great experience with any of your acrylic blocks, anything like that, then you'll be safe in the knowledge to know that you're not going to get anything all inky until you press down. So I'm going to go in. Now, we do things such as stamping mats, but once again, Ben, what I want to show you is how, because it's not included in this bundle, I don't want to use it. I want to show that you can still use this stamping platform, card and ink, without it, and you're still going to get the most perfect impression when it comes to the ink. I always like to keep one hand still, and then I move my other hand all the way around. And then once I'm happy that I have given it enough pressure, all that I'm going to do is release. I'm going to move it out of the way.
Wow.
And we have got an absolute perfect stamped impression that we can use with our alcohol colouring. And because it's the right ink pad, which you've got included, it means that that's not going to bleed when it comes to doing our colouring. So the one thing that I would highly recommend, and we will always tell you this, and I'll explain why, take a piece of cardstock or paper. Now, usually we'll say, don't use copier paper. What I would say is feel free to use copier paper. Scrap card, copier paper, it doesn't matter what you are using, you're not going to be reusing it, so it could be the cheapest of cheap brands. And that is because alcohol pens, they will start to bleed through your cardstock. And it's a good thing. This is when you're starting to create that blend, that tone on tone. The alcohol will start to evaporate, which then gives you that blending consistency. If I was to colour straight onto my glass mat or a craft mat, what could happen, Ben, is as it bleeds through, because it's a non-porous surface, the ink's going to puddle or pool, and then it's going to seep back up into your card, and therefore it's going to bleed out onto your image. If you put something porous like cardstock, inexpensive copier paper, if it starts to bleed through, what happens is that card or paper captures the ink and it stops it from bleeding back through into your image.
That makes
so
sense.
it's always a really, really good idea to do that. And sometimes you'll forget, Ben, sometimes I do it as well, and you'll soon, when I say, I mean this in a lovely way, you soon learn your lesson that, I forgot to put the cardstock, and you stop doing it. And I still do it every now and again. But that is the basis of doing the stamp when it comes to your image. So then what we can then do is we can go in with our pens here. Now it's a unicorn, and this exotic collection of pens is perfect for this, because as a unicorn you can colour whatever you like, wherever you like, as bright, as bold, as pastel, whichever way that you want. Now what I will do as well, let's just bring in, actually no, I don't need that bit, we're going to colour onto here. What we're going to do with our pens, I'm going to go in with the light tone. So let's pick a large, I'm actually going to go in with the magenta because it's one of my favourites. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a larger area of the tail to colour so we can start to see what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to start in with my light tone of the magenta, or whichever colour you're going to use. So I'm going to go in, and for me, I want to keep it quite simple. So I'm going to start where it's going to be light at the tail of the tail, and then it's going to get darker up into its, well, the back of the unicorn, let's say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the light tone, and I'm going to colour all the way up, and I like to go about 2/3 of the way up, so maybe just a little bit more. And what you want to do is you want to ensure that you're getting a really, really good coverage. In actual fact, I should have gone the other way around, so I'm just going to colour it all in. Let's go in and colour the tail in with that light tone. And I'll explain again in a moment why I like to leave a little bit of that white. Not everyone does it. It's not something you have to do, but it's one of those things that Leanne's done, and Leanne's taught me, so I follow Leanne's. So it's what we would call preserving the highlight, and it's a natural way to do it while you're colouring. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into the dark tone. Now, I've not had to look out another pen. I've not had to switch a separate pen. I've simply gone into the other edge, other side, taken the lid off. And then what I'm going to do is where I would feel it's going to be quite dark, I'm going to go in and I'm going to lay that dark tone down. And this time I'm going to come about, you know, 1/3 of the way. You can come further down, you can then go quite high up, you can go in with the detail, that's up to you, but I'm going to keep this in the simplest form. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my mid-tone. So once again, no changing of separate pens, not having to find them, it's all in that one. And just where that dark and that light meet, what I'm doing, I like to do circular motions, and I'm blending that out, Ben. And I'm going to come down a little bit more. So I'm just going to blend that out, and I'm going to come down again, maybe about another 1/3 of the way. And then what I can do is I'm going to go back in with my light tone, and I'm going to do the same. Where that mid-tone ends, I'm going to blend that out. And then what we then get is a beautiful seamless blend. Now, it's alcohol, so therefore it'll take another moment or two to evaporate, and then you will see that you get an absolute beautiful seamless blend with the dark going into the mid that goes into the light. It's going to take another couple of, when I say minutes, literally 10, 15 seconds, just letting that alcohol evaporate. And I'm going to do that again. Let's change the colour now. And let's go in with, let's go up to the main to show you. Now, this is where I was away to start doing that preserving the highlight. So what I'm going to do here, because down here, this is where it's going to be lighter, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to go in with the aqua blue blend. Some of these are a mouthful to say, Ben, first thing in the morning with all the blends. But we're going to go in, and then I'm going to come down about 2/3 of the way, Here we go. And this is where we're preserving that highlight here. So I'm going to go in and I'm adding in. If you hear a little bit squeaking, don't worry. It's actually quite a good sound to know that you are in some ways saturating your cardstock. I'm then going to flip into the opposite side. And then this is where, up where I would feel it's going to be darker, I'm going to go in with that dark tone, not having to find the separate pen. It's all together in one. And then what we can then do is go into that mid-tone, and then we're going to do exactly as I done in that last part, is I'm blending that out, and I'm working my way down, and then I'm going to go as far as I did with that light tone. The other way I like to explain that by building up your dark and your mid-tone, what you're kind of doing is priming your cardstock. So I've gone in with my alcohol pen light tone to start with. It's laying down the foundation. You're priming your card for you to then come along and start to do that blend of the three tones together that we can see here. So we can go in. Let's go in with an orange. Let's go in with a burnt orange. And we're going to go in. Let's do this bit here where you've got a little bit of an additional tail overlapping. So I'm going to go in with the light tone, and I'm going to come down 2/3 of the way. So we're going to go into here. We're going to go and we're adding these ones. So I'm going to come down into here. I'm then going to follow all the way down, and then I'm going to add a little bit more. And because this is in sections, Ben, what I'm basically going to do, what I've done on these two, I'm going to repeat again, but for each individual section. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to extend that a little bit more. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that darker tone, and I'm going to then blend that one out. So I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to go in with the mid-tone. And I like to do a section at a time. So in with that mid-tone, blending it out, and then we're going to then carry that down, working our way around any little stamped impressions that are in the way. We're going to blend that bit out. And then what we can do is I'm going to go back now for this middle section. I'm going to go in with that darker tone. I'm going to come down just a little bit. Then I'm flicking into that mid-tone. We're blending that one out ever so slightly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish that one off again. And then last but by no means least, what we can then do is we can go in to this last section. And as you start to learn and grow and progress, the blending, the shading, the depth that you can get. And this is me keeping it in simplest form, Ben, but what you could do is you could start to go around the wave of the tail or the mane, and you know, instead of it being dark further up, it could be dark down the side. So you're going from dark, mid to light, from left to right. There's so many different ways. I would always recommend go back and watch our YouTube, go onto YouTube, Pinterest, see what others are doing when it comes to tri-blends, because there's so many techniques that you can do, but you can see that you are starting to build that one up. So it's simply building up the blends when it comes to your colour, Ben. And then all that I'm going to do is using, this is from another stamp set that I've had within my stash, and it has been on Hobby Maker. But look what you can start to do when it comes to your colours. We've had colouring pads on Hobby Maker in the past as well. So that is going from the sheer basics to then starting to build up. And then you've got your stamp, that's yours at home. Why not use it with your water-based inks or maybe your sparkle pens? You don't just have to use it for your alcohol pens.
What's interesting there, Craig, is I noticed the stamp that you're getting in the kit is quite a large stamp, and yet the stamping platform has no problem with that at all. In fact, because I understand that sometimes when you're stamping a larger stamp, it can be more difficult to get it nice and evenly pressed. But with the stamping platform, it sort of eliminates that issue, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does, because you've got your feet in all four corners, you know, as you said quite rightly as well. I still love my acrylic blocks, but as you say, the bigger they are, sometimes they can rock, they can be uneven. Maybe you go and start to put the pressure down, and then your hand not slips, but it moves further to the top, so it rocks. If you've got any residual ink all the way around, best way to explain that is, and that's a really good point, Ben, thanks for saying that. If I ink my stamp up like I'm doing now, if I get any ink anywhere else around, I don't need to worry, because the depth of the stamp means it's only the stamp that's then going to come in contact with the cardstock, not the opposite edge, so no ink whatsoever. Take a little bit of warm water, wipe that off, same with the stamp, and that's it. So you don't have that worry of transferring extra ink around the edge.
Fantastic. And I love the way, as well, as a novice, I notice you do the light tone, the dark tone, and then the mid-tone. Brilliant. We've got a question that's come in. So we've got a question coming from Julie. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Julie.
We don't know where you're from, Julie, but good morning wherever you are. So, Craig, obviously you'll be able to answer this. What's the difference between the grey and the black tri-blends? Morning, everyone, she says. So I think she's talking about the barrel of the pens, because they come in both, don't they? Like a bluey grey or a black. What's the difference between those?
So I'm trying to think. So we don't have a black when it comes to the tri-blends. I think that must be our brush tri-blends. We do have another range. So I think it's more the difference between the original, kind of like original, and then the brush. And it's pure and simply down to the colour. You know, you've got your, for saying the brush nib, the grey, you've got the grey tones that run throughout, but then your black, you do have that sheer black. So if you love to do your silhouettes colouring, if you just love to use it as a standalone. So I think that's more referring to the brush tri-blends that we also do, and we have had on Hobby Maker in the past.
That's fantastic. Julie, I hope that answers your question. If we didn't answer your question, just ping us another message, but I think that's what you were asking. Now, don't forget that the tri-blends on their own should be $19.99, just for the tri-blends, $19.99. But in your bundle, you are also getting, of course, the other items. You're getting the stamping platform in there. You're getting the stamp as well. You're also getting in there the cardstock in there as well. And you're getting the alcohol-proof dye ink pad as well. So you're getting all of that in your bundle for $29.99. Don't forget, just the pens on their own would normally be $19.99. So for the extra £10, you're getting all those extra items. In fact, this bundle should be closer to £55. Should be close to £55. So the first bundle today, you've saved nearly £15. The second bundle, you've saved nearly £20. And the third bundle, you're saving nearly £25. If you've only just joined us, where have you been? What have you been doing? You're missing all the action, because we've got Craig Laird from Crafter's Companion, and he's been doing back to basics demos all morning this morning, and there are more to come. We've covered embossing, we've covered die cutting, we've covered blending as well. If you want to see any of the bundles, if you've missed them already, don't forget you can catch us on catch up, but you can also find us on the website there, and you'll see all the items on the show available below. And you can get those items individually, but as we all know, a bundle is the best way to buy. And that's what you want to be doing. Don't forget, check out those baskets if you've got the items in there, because all of the deals that we do are while stocks last. And having the item in your basket doesn't reserve the item. If one of you eager beavers out there is on the phone to our free phone UK-based call centre, and something's getting low in stock, they'll whip it out your basket. So make sure you get it checked out. We want to see those fingers. Now, the most popular bundle so far today has been just the phenomenal, I've never seen anything like it, the double-sided dies. If you've got those in your basket, make sure you get those checked out, because they have been the most popular. I think that's incredible. Double-sided dies, 2 dies in one, and die cutting both simultaneously. Absolutely brilliant. You're not going to see them anywhere else, just with Crafter's Companion. Now, moving on, It's time to learn to blend. We've covered looking at the markers, but we're going to learn to blend this time. So we've got another fantastic bundle coming up for you. Now on here, we've got 3 water reactive ink pads. You've also got, the colours on those, by the way, are Crushed Velvet, Lagoon, and Spring Meadow. They're the 3 colours that you've got. You've also got the Spectrum Noir mini blending sponges. You've also, there's 4 pieces in that. You've also got the Spectrum Noir blending tool. This is the round one. You're getting 3 pieces in that. And also, you're getting the Spectrum Noir fine spray mister, which there's 4 pieces, and you're getting the watercolour card ready to go as well. 15 sheets, but you're getting 2. So you're essentially getting 30. Well, not essentially, you are getting 30. So the water reactive dye ink pads, you're getting the Spectrum Noir mini blending sponges, the Spectrum Noir blending tool, the Spectrum Noir fine spray misters, and the watercolour card pack. Everything that you need to get going. The price on that should be, this will come as no surprise, £41.92. That won't come as any surprise to you experienced crafters who are buying Spectrum Noir, love Spectrum Noir, talk about great quality with Spectrum Noir, a staple item. And you might just want to get this to restock your crafty stash. And there's a bit of a theme developing here because $29.99 is your price, $29.99. All the bundles so far today have been $29.99. You're just saving. Unbelievable. Don't forget, get it checked out. You're only going to pay one lot of P&P. So if you've checked out already on something and now you want to get this bundle, you're only going to pay for 1 P&P. It's worth noting as well, you're getting the 3 ink pads in there, and the 3 ink pads on their own are $5.99 each. So that's £18 just for the 3 ink pads. And that's the normal price that you would pay for those Spectrum Noir ink pads. £18 for the 3. If you want to get them individually, you can do that. If you need a little top-up of one of them in particular or 2 of them, you can get them individually. But for £18, for $29.99, you're going to get the entire bundle, which is the 3 ink pads, 30 sheets of the watercolour card, the blending sponges, and of course the blending tool as well. Now, blending is a little bit scary, I always think, because do you know, I've had a little go at blending before, off screen, when we were messing about in the green room one day with one of our guests. And for me, I shied away from it just a little bit because I thought, that looks a bit complicated. Getting the technique right, I thought was a bit complicated. But you're going to show us how to do it simply, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah, this is something I absolutely love. I love creating backgrounds. I love doing the water reactive techniques that you can do. And as you said it as well, Ben, I was thinking it as well, these ink pads alone are worth $5.99, you know, and what you can do with them is so versatile. So usually I would say what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of your watercolour cardstock. But not only are you getting 1 sheet, you're getting, or 1 pack, you're getting 2 packs, so you're getting 30 sheets of your A4 in size. And like me, you're probably going to be using smaller sections of your cardstock. I've cut this one down to 4x6. That's how I tend to do a lot of mine. So it's going to last you a long time. What I'm then going to do is I'm then going to bring in my ink pads. So it's your Spring Meadow, Crushed Velvet and Lagoon, as you were saying. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use my blending tool. So you get the circular one included. I know we do another range, and they are on the show as well, where it's, well, they're called square, but they're actually rectangle. So you can then use either one. It's personal preference, but I'm going to use the circular ones because that's what's included within this bundle. And for the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it very simple, Ben, and I'm going to use the Crushed Velvet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up my blending tool. So you get 1 of the tools and then you get 2 of the foam heads. You can get replacement ones that I'm sure will be on the website. And then all that I'm going to do is I'm going to start to blend that colour onto my card. Now what I like to do is go in and really start to blend it. Now one of the good things as well with the water reactive is if you do go on like I'm doing now and you maybe get a harsh line or a circular line because of the way that you've applied it, you can blend that line out so it can no longer be seen. But what we're just going to do is we're going to keep going in, and then I'm going to lay that colour on. And then what I would also recommend that you do is, once again, using a piece of scrap card or copier paper, something that you can then take and cover. What I mean by that is if I turn around and I pop my fingers onto this ink because I want to hold it, to blend it, because it's a water-based ink pad, it's water reactive, the oils in my hand are going to pick up the colour. Now, it washes off your hands, however, you're going to be left with fingerprints. Sometimes that might look quite cool if you want to have that effect. But to stop that effect, all that I'm going to do is put a little bit of scrap card or paper over my pre-inked area, and then we can then go in, and then we can then start to add that colour onto the other side. We can go direct, just adding that in, and then you're going to keep adding that colour up to the point that you're happy. So you might want it one shade all the way across, edge to edge, side to side, corner to corner. You might want to have it lighter in the middle and then darker towards the edges, which is something that we'll kind of do in a moment. And then what we can then do is we could go in darker on the middle and lighter on the edge. It's entirely up to you. If you want to not even use these in a water-based forum, simply to lay colour down like I'm doing, you can do. But I know some of you may be thinking, well, what do you mean by water-based? Well, we're going to do some techniques which is called faux bleaching. And it's called that because it gives you a bleached effect, but you're using water, with it being water-based. So all that I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go around the edges, making it a little bit deeper in colour, simply for personal preference. We're going to add it in, and all that I keep doing, and what I'm going to do, just for a second, I'm going to annoy Liam in our gallery. What I like to do, Ben, is I like to put my ink pad against my glass mat. If you put it onto your glass mat or any surface, see how sometimes you can be chasing it? You know, I want to drag that colour on, but I'm chasing it. So what I do is I put it against my glass mat and I pull away from myself or pull towards myself, and that stops it from running all over the place. And it gives a really good application. And it's just something that I'd learned, and I find it's really, really handy to do that. And do you know what? Even if you've got other branded ink pads, it's a good way to do that as well. But there we go. What I can then do is get a really, really nice coverage of the ink. Let's just go in, blend it all together, and leave it like that if you want to. Leave it for a wee while just to completely set. But what I'm going to do is, you've got a full pack of these in this bundle, and that is your misters. You've got 4 of these. Now, keeping it simple to start with if you want, by popping water in. But then what you could do, Ben, is you can put things such as your really fine mica powders, anything like that. You can pop them in as well if you want to, or you can colour it if you want to. That's up to yourself. But I'm keeping it based with the water. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz. So the closer you spritz to your card, the more of the pooled bubbles you're going to get. The further away, the more of that fine mist. So I'm going to do it far away, and then I'm going to also show you another way. So what I'm then going to do is spritz with my card. And then what I also like to do, Ben, is I like to spritz into my hand, and then I flick. So I'm flicking the water onto my card, and you can do it as much or as little as you want till you're happy. The longer you leave the water on, the more colour it's going to pull out. So you can leave it for a few minutes if you want to. But then what I'm going to do is kind of happy with that now. I'm going to put some kitchen roll or another piece of watercolour card because that can look quite smart, because what is then being transferred onto that opposite side of your card, you could use elsewhere. Because what I mean by that, that's on my kitchen roll, but that could have been on another piece of the watercolour card. But then look at that. Isn't that fab?
That's brilliant.
How cool is that? That is simply by blending that colour onto your watercolour cardstock, and then we are spritzing our water on. But you can start to blend two colours together. So let's do that. Let's set that one to the side. So I'm going to bring in another piece now, another piece of our watercolour card. I'm just going to take that off my glass mat. Now, incidentally, that colour I had on my glass mat, I could spritz with water and then I could dab my cardstock in, so I'm not wasting any. That ink will then transfer onto your card, a little bit like a marble effect.
Yeah.
But let's bring in our spring meadow and then our lagoon. So I'm going to come in now, obviously, I'm fortunate here, I can then take a few of our blending tools. But if you only got the one that you've got within the bundle, all you do is just take it off, it's your hook and loop, take it off, and then you're just going to pop your other one on. So even if you've got one, you can still use just that one. So then what I'm going to do, as I've done previously, I'm going to go in this time with the spring meadow, and I'm going to do the same to start with. I'm going to lay that colour down. We're going to go in, and I'm just really going to get that colour onto my cardstock. So start to then build up that colour, and you can choose how far you want to come. I'm just going to go 50-50, but you could come down a third of the way, 2/3 of the way, quarter, 3/4, whichever way that you look at it, you can do that. But as I say, I'm going to come halfway. So that's the spring meadow. And now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to go in with the lagoon. And once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a piece of my cardstock here to protect my oils on my fingers from transferring. So what I can then do, I've got a few little harsh lines in there, so I can blend them out when it comes to the ink. So working my way up. So keep working my way up my cardstock so that I'm beginning to catch up with that spring meadow. So we're going to keep on going. So we're going to blend that one in. I'm going to come a little bit further up till it starts to cross over. And then as it crosses over, what I like to do, Ben, is I like to go back to my lightest tone, which was my spring meadow. And then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to blend them two together. So if we blend them together, if you want to add more of that light tone, you absolutely can do. It's easier and more effective to blend that light into the dark than going with the dark into the light.
Yeah.
But then all that you're going to keep doing is go in until you are happy, and then even as your colour starts to come off your blending tool, just work your way down so that you can then start to blend the two. It could be like a beach scene or something, couldn't it, when it comes to that one?
Craig,
there.
I've got a question for you
So
actually
you
on that.
Yeah, go for it.
So you've got the two different sponges to create those two colours that you've got there. Do you wash the sponges out? Do you have one for light and one for dark colours? Do you get the refills and keep them completely separate? What would your advice be?
So really good question. So what I done when I first got mine is I invested in about 6 of the actual tools that I've got, because you can get them individually. And then what I done is I bought a number of packs of the refills that you can get. Okay. And what I like to do, Ben, is I like to just keep one sponge for one ink. Okay. However, you can absolutely, because water reactives are also in colour families, as in the tri-blends I showed you.
Yes.
So you could use that one, so let's say red, you could use that one sponge for the light, the medium, and that dark red if you want to. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
If you can't reach for a full pack or refills, anything like that, as you said, just some warm water, just give it a little wash in into the basin, let it dry naturally, and then you can just start reusing it.
Yeah.
It will stain,
yes,
but it won't affect any future colour, so that's a good way. The other little tip, what I do, is on a certain inexpensive site, I bought some inexpensive circle hook and loop.
Oh,
and
yes.
the negative side, the rough side, what I do, Ben, is I stick it on the base of my water reactive pad,
yes,
and then I take my foam and then I stick it underneath, and that sits in my Spectrum Noir trays. So it just means I've got one. So as I say, I have about 6 of the tools, and then I just purchase some of the refills, and I use one for each one.
That's a brilliant idea. I love the way of storing the sponges there. If people do want to get the extra tools or want to get the extra sponges, have a look on the website. Everything's on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do one other thing, Ben, when it comes to this distressing, because what you've also got is you've got, it's like these little egg shapes here. Now, you use these in the exact same way pretty much as I was using the tools. I'm still going to use the tools, but with these, if you maybe sometimes struggle, maybe you still get some of the harsher lines, although with our Harmony Water Reactive, you can blend them out. What you can do with these is give that nice smooth edge, but you've also got this little point to it as well for little details. So I'll start off using one just to show you, because all you're going to do is you're going to then ink these ones up with your ink, and then you're going to go in and then you're going to start to lay that colour down. So you're just going to work it in, you're going to blend that one in, and similar to the actual pads, if you want to then change the colour of that, just in some warm water, let it dry naturally. It will stain, but it won't affect any future colouring. So you're just going to carry on going all the way down. So I'm going to go back to my blending tools, because if I do have a favourite, it's them. And then what I've also done is I've taken a butterfly stamp that I've had from a previous show on Hobby Maker. And what I've done, Ben, is I've stamped it out, and I have done some white embossing powder.
Okay.
So what we've got then is we're going to reveal the butterfly underneath, and what that's also going to do, because of the embossing, doesn't matter what colour you're using of embossing powder, but I think white works well for what I'm away to show you. But what will happen is your ink, it will sort of sit and bubble on top of the embossed area, because it's a non-porous surface. And then all that I'm going to do in a moment is we'll just buff that colour off that's sitting on the top. And then one of my favourite techniques, which is very, very similar to what I done in the first one, where I spritz some water onto the card. It's got that element to it, but in a different way. And I'll explain that just in a second. But what we're going to do is I'm going to lay that colour on. And then what I'm going to do, I'm purposely going to go a little bit more heavy-handed in the middle of this butterfly, Ben, because it's really going to show off the technique that I'm away to show you. So what I can then do is add my ink on. Now, I could be blending them with different colours, adding different colours. Don't worry about that. You can then still get that effect, whether you're doing one colour, 2, 3, 5, whatever it is. Because it's water reactive, you can then blend the colours together. Then I'm going to bring in some water, tap water, and a brush. And then what I'm then going to do is make sure I've got some kitchen roll. I'm then going to go in now, and what I'm basically going to do, Ben, is I'm going to paint in the butterfly.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is that's going to create that faux bleached effect, because you can watercolour with the ink pads. But what I'm going to do is leave that a moment. The longer you leave it, the more colour it's going to pull off. I'm going to dab my kitchen roll over the top, and look at that. It lifts the colour. So I'm going to go back in again, finish off any of that detail. So then we can then go in, I would do the whole butterfly, or you could cherry pick sections, whatever stamp it is that you're using, you can of course cherry pick the section, but for ease of this demonstration, I am just doing the whole lot. So what I can then do is take that excess off. Look at that, isn't that fab?
That's very,
absolutely
very clever.
fab.
Very
and then
clever.
I'll show you the one that I've already done, but still using my paintbrush and water, I am then tapping on, and I'm going to say it again, the longer you leave it, the more ink it's going to pull off. But then what we can then do is then take that excess off. You've got that effect there. And if I bring in the one I done last night, Ben, in that exact same way, so I carried on colouring in that butterfly with just some water, lifted it off with my kitchen roll, and then you've got a painted faux bleach effect butterfly. And that could be any stamp that you've got at home that you've done some heat embossing, whether it's white, whether it's clear, it's entirely up to you, but that's another way in which you can then use your water reactives.
That's very, very clever indeed. I really, really like that. Very clever. So we're touching on as many techniques as possible as this morning, but always check out Crafters Companion's website and YouTube, because you're going to see a multitude of other ways that you can use these different bundles and these techniques. We do have one more bundle that we want to bring to you. We're not going to get time, unfortunately, to demo it, but keep an eye online. But we do want to show you the bundle very, very quickly. But it is something completely different. Should be $44.95, so just short of £45. And you will have seen on the show this morning, we've had some fantastic bundle deals. Everything that you've got on there: flower stamens for the floral bouquet, Crafters Companion flower forming foam, that's in foliage greens. Crafters Companion flower forming foam, we've got that down there twice. Bell Countryside metal die, which is precious peonies, and also we've got the clover as well in the foam die. You'll see the details on the screen. As with all the other bundles, it's £29.99. So that is going to save you around £15, something like that, about £15. Don't forget, check out your items on the website, check out your basket, check out the Crafters Companion website, lots and lots of demos. Craig, I've thoroughly enjoyed this morning and seeing all these wonderful techniques, and we've got like 30 seconds left to go. So all that's left to do is to say thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. And just say a little bit of a change of plan. I'm going to be back in the Hobby Maker studio tomorrow at 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So I'll see you then.
2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Don't miss that. Make sure you tune in 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. We are back at 1 o'clock today, 1 till 5. Thank you, Craig, for coming to see us today. Don't forget, after the show, depending on which channel you're on, we've got Jewellery Maker coming up, and we've also got Sewing Street coming up. Don't forget to join us right here in the studio again tomorrow for more Wake Up with Hobby Maker from 6 on weekdays. Until then, keep on crafting. Bye.